Do you have an OPC that you'd like to repurpose? OpenMediaVault might be a great solution for you if you want to add storage to your network. Join me as we go through the installation process and basic setup. Stay tuned to the end, and you might find a tip or two that nobody else will tell you. We're going to start by taking a look at the documentation provided by OpenMediaVault themselves. So keep in mind that we can install OpenMediaVault in multiple different ways on a couple of different platforms. We are going to focus on a standard x86-64 machine or virtual machine, but keep in mind that you can install on devices like a Raspberry Pi, and you'll want to refer to the instructions for how to do so. If we look at the installation from ISO Image, it'll tell you how to download the image and where to find that. And then it will run you through each of the screens of the installer. And the one thing that I really want to point out to you is when we get down here to the end, when you get to the end of the installer, it's going to ask you where you want to install the bootloader. This is one thing that I find that trips up new users. And this is why I recommend installing with a single disk attached to your machine. That way there's no question about it. So generally speaking, you are going to want to install the bootloader on the first disk. So typically that would be dev SDA. So /dev/SDA. Your mileage may vary depending on what machine you have. If you're using an NVMe drive or a USB installation location, that name will be different. But generally speaking, you want to install the bootloader on the first drive. Once you are done installing and you select reboot, we'll end up at the screen you see here. Okay, we've arrived at our login screen. The default login that is set with every OpenMediaVault installation is admin for the username and OpenMediaVault for the password. And this is going to bring us to our dashboard. So right off, we can close this donate box and we can click on the link here for the settings page for the dashboard. This is just a little housekeeping that they push you through at the beginning. So you can play with these options later, but for now, we're just going to select a few of the ones that I typically use and use it as a starting point. And we'll say save on that. Okay, so now we've got a dashboard, and before we do anything else, the first thing we want to do is change our password. This is just a good security measure so that you're not leaving this open for anybody that knows anything about OpenMediaVault to just connect to willy-nilly. So let's go ahead and come up to the little person icon and click change password. And we're just going to enter a password here. And second time. And click save. And that is done. Now, the other thing we want to do is we can go to our person icon here and we can select dark mode. So it's a little bit easier on our eyes, and again, this is a personal preference thing, but a lot of people seem to like dark mode. Let's return to our dashboard and look at a couple of things here. So right off, it's a fresh install, and what do you do after the install of any operating system? You do updates. So right here it's telling us updates available, yes. So we'll go ahead and click on this. It's going to give us a list of updates, and there's quite a long list because this is a brand new install. So we're going to click the arrow with the yellow bubble next to it, confirm, and yes. If your update's completed successfully, you should see a screen that looks like this. At the bottom, it's going to say end of line. Now, beginner tip. Something I've seen on occasion is it will come back and it will say connection lost. In In such a case, we'll close that dialog. We'll come back to updates. We'll hit the magnifying glass icon. Doing that will refresh the updates so that the system can properly update. Following that, you'll hit the down arrow again, and you'll be able to push the updates. Now, after the updates have completed successfully, you'll see this yellow pending changes banner up here at the top. You click the checkbox and say yes, and it says applied configuration changes. Now, always keep an eye on the bell up here in the top right corner. This is going to tell you things that you need to do. So in this case, a system restart is required. So we'll go ahead and click the power button and say reboot. Confirm and yes. All right, once again, we are directed back to our login page, and we're going to log in again with admin, and we're going to use our new password that we've set. And it's going to take us back to the dashboard. So one thing I like to do is go back in and double check using the magnifying glass and make sure there aren't any residual updates that didn't go the first time. This is just a helpful practice to get into that will keep everything running nicely. So we're going to look at the bell up here again, applied configuration changes. We can go ahead and delete that. We've reached the point in the process where we need to shut down our system, add our storage disks, and restart the system. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'll be back and we'll continue on with adding our disks and doing system configuration. All right, so we've added our disks, we've rebooted, we are back at the login screen. Again, we log in with the username admin and the password that we have set. All right, so now we need to configure our disks. So we are going to come over to the left-hand side. We're going to go to storage and disks, and we can see a total of 3 disks. So the top one, and I did this purposely in a virtual machine so I can show this process better. So the top one is our boot disk. You can tell this by the size. This is a 32 gigabyte disk, and the 2 storage drives I've added are 50 gigabytes apiece. Again, this is for demo purposes. Likely your drives are going to be much larger than this. So from here, we can move on to configuring the file system. So if we move to file system, we're going to click the plus. We're going to say Btrfs, and so that shows up on type. We're going to leave it at RAID 0, and then we're going to select the devices that we're going to use for this. Now, there are other options you can use depending on how many drives you've got in your system. And for this, I'll point you once again at the documentation. Go down to the description and you will find the link to get directly to that documentation. So we select the 2 disks. We say save and close. And it has moved us on to the next section. So under File System, we are going to select, we've only got 1 currently, and we will save on that. We'll click the check mark in the yellow to apply the pending changes. So now we have added the storage, and it is shown as mounted. Basically what that means is it's available to OpenMediaVault, but we don't have a way to access this yet. So the next thing we need to do is we need to come down here to shared folders. Again, we'll click the plus, and we're just going to call this demo. Select a file system. Again, there's only 1, and click save. Again, we will click the check mark in the yellow bar and yes. And so now if we jump back here to file systems, we will see that this is mounted and referenced. Great, we're making progress. But there's more to do. we need to come down here to services. And the typical use case is for Windows machines. Macs and Linux also use what is referred to often as Windows file sharing. In OpenMediaVault, it is referred to as SMB or CIFS. So we'll click this box, we'll click this option here, and we'll start in settings. And the first thing we need to do is enable the service. If you don't enable it, you're not going to be able to connect to it. We can leave these other settings alone and hit save. But there's more. Check mark in the yellow bar. Yes to apply. And we need to move to shares. So again, nothing is listed here. Hit the blue plus icon. We're going to select the shared folder. This we called demo. At this point in time, we're going to leave the other permissions and things alone. We're going to come down here and hit save. And we'll have to apply again. Check mark in the yellow bar, yes. If we move back to settings and shared folders, we can see now that our share is both available and referenced. Moving to users, and then users again, we can add a user manually. Keep in mind there's also another option where you can import users using a CSV format that we will explore later. To add the user, you specify the username, type the password in twice, and optionally you can add the user to groups, but we are going to focus on doing that later. It may take a moment, but you will be prompted to apply the changes for the user. We can now select the user and then the blue folder icon above, and we can give permissions specifically to this user. Keep in mind, you may want to use groups later on once you're more familiar with the system. And of course, we'll need to apply the changes. If we return to the bell icon at the top right of the screen, we can see again that we will have a list of things that we have done to the system, and it will inform us if we need to reboot for some reason. Testing on the Mac side can be done by hitting Command K or going to the Go menu and connect to server. Enter the IP address of the OpenMediaVault server, and when prompted, enter the username and password if it's different than the account that you're logged into the Mac from. On the Ubuntu system, start by going to the File Manager and selecting Other Locations. If you know the name of the server, you can select it from the list and log in by double-clicking and entering the required information. Alternatively, you can go down to the text box at the bottom and you can enter SMB:// and your IP address and then select Connect. Depending on how you've set up the server, you may have to double-click on the share name to get a login box for username and password. As you can see, the two files that we copied from the Mac are in fact showing as available. And that will bring us to the end of the first video on OpenMediaVault 8. If you want to learn more and take things to the next level, take a look at the video that's showing on your screen now.